Hello, I'm Wendy Brokaw with a CCTV message in partnership with the American Red Cross. In a moment, we'll be speaking with someone from that organization who is taking time to update us and give us ways to help. As we speak, first responders and aid workers are on site or on the way to multiple catastrophic natural disasters. September 19, the second major earthquake to strike Mexico in less than 2 weeks, causing widespread horrific damage, taking hundreds of lives. Hurricane Maria has just struck Puerto Rico hard. Hurricane Irma, one of the most powerful recorded Atlantic storms, devastating the Caribbean islands before wreaking coast-to-coast damage in Florida. And this on the heels of Harvey, another historic Category 5 hurricane, left the Gulf Coast and Houston in chaos from which they are still reeling. We aren't even touching yet on our own Oregon disasters in the wake of dozens of wildfires, only just now beginning as the rainy season begins. Just now ending, as the rainy season begins. So where do we begin to assess the need? How do we help? On the phone with us is Monique Dugaw, Communications Director for the American Red Cross Cascades Region, with an update and answers to these and other questions for us. Monique, are you there?
I am.
Where are you reaching us? Where are you in field right now?
Well, the American Red Cross is there regardless of the disaster. We are there to help people and to deliver hope in what seems like a hopeless situation. And we have seen certainly a catastrophic wildfire season, really unprecedented here locally. And we've been responding for 4 weeks straight to one wildfire after the next. We started in Central Oregon right around the time of the eclipse and haven't stopped responding since, helping hundreds of people who have been affected by not only the Chetco Bar wildfire in southern Oregon, but also the Gorge wildfire up in the Gorge area, as well as central and eastern Oregon wildfires. So hundreds of our local responders have stepped up. About 300 responders have stepped up to assist this operation, and we've provided 22,000 meals and snacks just locally here at our operation, and more than 800 overnight stays for wildfires alone. Now, take in addition to that, our local responders, after working tremendous hours, volunteering their time to assist people who have been affected by disasters here locally, are now traveling across the nation to assist people who have been affected by Hurricane Harvey and Hurricane Irma and now Hurricane Maria. We have responders, a total of 28 from our local region, who have stepped up to drive emergency response vehicles across the nation to deliver supplies and resources to these affected areas. And also other responders who have traveled to these locations to help with delivering food and shelter and water to affected neighborhoods, but also by providing emergency financial assistance, helping to reunify families, and delivering health and mental health services to people in need. We have volunteers from everywhere, from St. Helens to Williams to Portland to Bend to Eugene to Kaiser to Junction City to Salem to Florence. All across our region, these folks have stepped up, volunteered their time. These are not paid staff members, and traveled to these extremely devastated areas.
I know that
we'll continue to do so just as long as there is a need.
I know that there was training being offered to people who showed up and said, look, how can we help? And doesn't the Red Cross help train these responders?
That's correct. We have trained responders, and we're deploying folks as quickly as possible after that training and getting them really to the areas where we're needed the most. There are thousands of people still without power, people who have nowhere else to turn but to go to a Red Cross shelter, many people who are working to try and get reunified with their families. They have no place else to go, and so they go to our shelters, and we have specific aid workers there that are helping families to connect with lost loved ones.
How do they help them? How do they help them connect?
One of the things that we do is we'll look for people who have been reported missing in that area. We'll work with government entities. We also have our own family reunification tools that we utilize when someone is reported missing after a disaster. Then we connect with that local database and then check our shelter population. So we have individuals sign into shelters so that we know who's staying there in the event that someone's looking for that person because they have a missing family member. So we're able to then connect the dots and help people to reunify with missing loved ones. And we actually had a really heartwarming story out in Naples, Florida, where it was really hit hard with devastation from Hurricane Irma. And a woman who was reported missing by her family was staying in a Red Cross shelter, and they were trying to transition her over to long-term assisted care because she had been living in an assisted living facility. Well, she said, no way, I don't want to go. I want to stay with the Red Cross. They're treating me so well here. I love it. I don't want to leave. And so, I mean, certainly we want to help people and do the best that we can to assist, and certainly that woman was being assisted and was grateful for that service. And that's why we're here. We are here to respond on someone's darkest day to make sure that they have the basic necessities taken care of, that they have food, they have shelter, a safe place to stay, that they have water, that they have the basic comfort items like hygiene products, deodorant, or toothpaste, when they may not have grabbed that when they evacuated from wherever they came from after a disaster.
And that's
so they can focus on the big picture.
Get a kit, get a plan. That's one of the Red Cross mottos, hasn't it been?
Right. Build a kit, make a plan, and be informed.
Well, one of the things people are wondering about right now is Mexico. They have relatives, family, friends. They're frantic for information. What can you tell us? What do you know now?
Sure. So right now, dozens of Mexican Red Cross teams are searching for survivors and transporting injured people to hospitals, providing first aid on scene. And they have deployed dozens of doctors and nurses alongside more than 90 ambulances and an urban rescue unit. So in total, there's approximately 500 volunteers and employees that have been activated for this particular emergency, and 17 more urban rescue teams and ambulances and other logistical teams will arrive today. And the Red Cross here at the American Red Cross is working very closely with the Mexican Red Cross. We all fall under that International Red Cross umbrella for humanitarian aid. And if there is a call from the Mexican Red Cross asking for American Red Cross personnel to come and assist, we will immediately assist with that if there is a need. We're here to help, and we're one Red Cross all together throughout the entire world.
Well, you've never seen anything like this before, one huge catastrophic disaster after another. Am I correct about that?
It's been unprecedented, and I understand that we're on track to potentially have a record hurricane season.
Oh, yeah.
So we're certainly monitoring the situation closely and ensuring that we have our volunteers trained and ready to respond at a moment's notice to deliver that aid to people in need. But it's certainly been unprecedented between the wildfires we've seen here locally to the hurricanes nationally and then the earthquakes internationally. It's been extremely busy and certainly is an unprecedented series of events.
Monique, how can people best help? I know one of the first things they think about is clothing, food, the things, items, but something that is more important than that, you've often said, is a donation. Why is it?
That's correct. You know, we greatly appreciate the generosity of the American public. That is why we exist, because of the generosity of the American public with their time as volunteers and with their dollars through donations. The best way to help during a disaster relief operation is to make a financial donation. The American Red Cross takes those financial donations, and by the way, you can always designate your donation, and we will always honor donor intent. But what we're able to do is then utilize those donations to get exactly what's needed for a disaster relief operation. As you can imagine, if a lot of clothing or other goods are donated, we must then take resources away from our immediate assistance that we're giving to people who have been affected to clean and sort and stack and box those donated items.
Sure.
And it takes away from our ability to deliver that direct assistance to the people who need it the most. And that's the reason that we ask for a financial donation, because then we have that flexibility. If we need cots, we're able to go get the cots. If we need blankets, if we need water, if we need food, we then have that flexibility to respond to exactly the needs of that disaster. And the best way to donate is to go to redcross.org. You can call 1-800-RED-CROSS, or you can text a donation to 90999, and you can text the text the word Irma to those numbers to 90999.
Is there
make
one
a designated donation.
Is there one set up yet for Mexico City relief?
So Mexico City Relief, if you go to redcross.org, you will be able to make a donation to that Mexico City Relief.
It's just always an amazement to me the way that people right here in Salem, for example, are ready to go. Once they've been trained, they get into those emergency vehicles and they drive them cross-country with supplies and disaster relief, mental health help, whatever is needed in a community, and then they stay there at these shelters and provide the assistance as long as is needed. I can't tell you how much that must mean to the people getting the help.
It's an incredibly powerful thing to be able to step up and help someone on their darkest day. And I must say that we have such an incredibly strong volunteer base in Salem and truly appreciate the willingness of responders to exit their own life for a period of time to help people that they have never met. And, you know, I was listening to a story of one of our responders who was on the ground, and people were asking, where are you from? She's currently on the ground in Texas, and going into neighborhoods with an emergency response vehicle and delivering food to folks who are unable to leave their neighborhoods because of storm damage. And she said that people are asking her, where are you from? And she says, Oregon. And they are blown away that a responder has traveled across the country in an emergency response vehicle, driving all that way to help her and her family, this woman that we were talking to. So there's an extreme sense of gratitude for the help that folks are receiving on the ground, and we will continue to be there just as long as there's a need. The Red Cross will be on the ground in Texas and in Florida, not just days and weeks after these storms hit, but we will be on the ground for years to come, working to deliver that help and that hope to people and helping to rebuild communities to make sure that they have the resources they need to recover.
Monique, before we get off, I want you to know that people have been seeing the images that you sent from these various places where disasters have been, and while we're talking, and also on the screen has been showing all that contact information that you gave us so that they know how they can help and how they can get involved. This has been wonderful that you were able to stop everything you were doing to give us a chance to update our community on ways they can help and what's really going on. Thank you.
We appreciate your support so much. We appreciate the generosity of volunteers, and we appreciate the generosity of donors. That's why the Red Cross can exist, is because of our community's generosity. So thank you.
Well, thank you, and I hope that we can talk to you again like this sometime. This is great, real-time conversation.
Absolutely, anytime.
Thanks again. All right,
Thank you.
Thank you. That was Monique Dugaw. She is the spokeswoman for the Cascades Region chapter of the American Red Cross right here in Oregon. What a gift to us to give us a chance to update you. The Red Cross has launched massive responses to these devastating storms and earthquakes and disasters. To help people affected by Hurricane Harvey, you can visit redcross.org, or you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS, or you can text the word Harvey to 90999 to make a donation. You can help people affected by Irma by visiting redcross.org or calling 1-800-RED-CROSS, or texting the word Irma to 90999 to make that donation. As Monique said, donations enable the Red Cross to prepare for and respond to and help people recover from disasters. And when you donate, the Red Cross honors donor intent. Donors can designate their donation to the relief effort of their choice by choosing that option when donating on redcross.org website or when they call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Thank you so much for joining us today on this very special program. Thank you.